You know what's cool for me? Getting to actually hear the theme song. I don't get to hear it every week because, I'm sitting over here and I've got other things going on, and so I can't really hear all of it. But it's been a fun day for me because I'm here by myself. Dan's down there in Miami helping me out. But Eli's not here. He's on the other side of the planet getting warm. He's doing that whole Hawaii thing, Hawaii, because he needed to be there instead of here. Of course he did. Eli, we hope you're having fun. Me and Dan, we're going to hold down the fort for tonight. Every time we do one of these episodes where I ask my friends who are drummers or actors or whatever to submit a quick video, they turn out to be just an absolutely wonderful experience. People love them. I love them. The people that are involved in them, it's really, really, really fun. I think that you guys are going to enjoy this as much as we are. I want to say a quick hello to everybody. I'm already seeing, let me see who all I've got here. Charles is here. I see you here. Kendall is here. Nice to see you, Kendall. Chris is here. Good to see you, my friend. So many. Wow, there's an awful lot of comments already, so it's really good to have everybody here with us tonight this early. You'll find me doing this tonight a bit because I am, in fact, reading off of a screen over there, but I'll try to talk to you as much as I can. So let's take a quick moment, and I'll come right back after this message, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on tonight, okay? The all-new GrooveDinerAfterDark.com is your home for all the things that groove. Watch live episodes, visit the archives, check out the YouTube channel, learn more about your host. Own some merchandise. We've got it all under one roof. Updates will continue to roll out throughout the season, including video drum lessons, industry coaching, production tips, and much more. Tune in for the show, then visit the website each and every week so that you can answer that most important question. Do you groove? Yes, Buddy does like his Pringles. But you know what else is even more important to me than Pringles? Because we're asking you, what are you snacking on tonight? Let us know. I do like my Pringles, but I'm a Golden Flake Sweet Heat fan. You can't get Golden Flake chips out here on the West Coast without having them shipped in. So at some point I need to do that again. Those are the best potato chips on the planet. I just love those things. It's so funny. Hey, Gina Adams, good to see you here with us tonight. Thanks for joining us. As always, it's good to have you with us. So tonight, I did, in fact, say to some of my drummer friends, why do you love what you do? A lot of times people will ask me what I do for a living, and I'm going to have to take one of these out, which is something I never do. A lot of times people will ask me, what do you do for a living? And I'll say, I play drums. Oh, okay, but what do you do? And then I go through this whole thing of explaining that, in fact, I am a full-time musician. All I've done for the past 22 years now, can that be right? 23. Wow, is play music in one form or another. So it's always surprising when people ask me about that. And without fail, they always say the same thing to me. It's so great that you get to do something that you love for a living. And the truth is, I used to kind of bristle at that a bit because doing what I do for a living is a lot of work. The hours are unconscionable. The low pay is true, especially early on in your career. It's pretty rough, because you get so little money for what you do, and the time spent versus amount of money that you make, again, especially early on, is so difficult to get over. But it's always been worth it to me, even now. Over the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've had several events that have made me really appreciate what it is I get to do every day, sitting behind this drum set or one of the other 4 that are sitting over there, just out of camera, and getting to play music for you guys is something that I take very seriously, and it's something that I completely see as, well, I will use the word a blessing. No matter what that means to you, that's the only way I can say it. This is a blessing to get to do what I do. And I think my wife would tell you certainly that it can be a challenge to be married to a musician sometimes, especially when the challenges arise in the career path. Fortunately, obviously, we've made it through. So I'll hold on to what it is I love the most about being a drummer. And we're gonna take a listen to some people tonight. I've got quite a few people submitted videos, and I can't wait for you to get to know them a little better and us to talk about it. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate. I'm right here the entire time, and we'll be glad to answer any question that you might have, or if you have any comments, let me know, okay? So let's just take a look at our first one. Nate Morton from The Voice.
I started playing drums when I was 5 years old. 5 years old. And I don't know if you could say drums or not, but I was certainly banging on pots and pans and, building drum sets at 5 years old out of cardboard boxes and buckets and things like that. And so I think that what I love most about playing drums is that when I get to sit behind a kit and play, even though the drum set looks very different now to what I was playing on at 5 years old and is made up of much more high technology and so on, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still me banging on pots and pans and buckets at 5 years old. And so I am immediately transported back to my childhood, to being a kid, making noise, being crazy knucklehead banging on pots and pans. So that's what I love most about drumming, is that it takes me right back to my childhood every single time.
Yeah, I so get that. I was the banging on the stands kid. I would go to a high school football game. My sisters were a bit older than me, and I'd go to their football games where they were both in the marching band, and I would sit and just pound away on the bleachers, and that was the first inkling that my mom had that I might want to be a drummer. Nate, that's really awesome, man. I can instantly picture you sitting there doing your thing and building drum sets, and probably your mom was none too happy about that. Probably, I guess it's okay though, because it landed you on The Voice at some point, and you're doing okay, man. So that's really cool. Kendall, you are here. I said that earlier. I said hello earlier. Hi, Tiffany, watching in Vicksburg. Nice to see you. Toby's here. Yes, Toby banging on the glass at hockey games, and fortunately for us with the LA Kings, we sit right at the glass, so we get to bang on some things down there. It can be a lot of fun, and the rhythmic, drummers banging on glass. It's going to have some rhythm, right? I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. I've heard, hey, Charles, I see you here too as well. How are things down in South Africa, my friend? It's really been something interesting to me. That we have got such an international audience. And let me just put these away right over there. It's really an interesting thing to me that we've got such an international audience. I found out today, in fact, that we have a new audience contingent in Beirut, Lebanon. So welcome to everyone in Beirut. Thank you for joining us on Monday nights. I suppose it would be Tuesday morning where you are. So we thank you for spending your time with us. This hour of fun. So let's take a look now. Let's see what my friend Doug Tann. Doug Tann is a Las Vegas drummer. He's working with Charo, the hoochie coochie. I just love that he's working with Charo. That's so fun to me. So let's see what Doug has to say.
Hey folks, good morning. Doug Tann here from Las Vegas, Nevada. Buddy has asked me to send a very brief video about why I love playing the drums. For me, it's very simple. It's the only true form of validation that I get, knowing that I was put on the earth to do one thing, and that was to, in fact, play the drums. It's tactile, it's visceral, it brings me a lot of joy, and I've made a really good living doing it. So anyways, go practice.
Well, there you go. It's his way of approaching the world, and I understand that very much. The validation that he gets for being essentially for taking up oxygen. I understand that on a very deep level, man, because the fact of the matter is that we all need a purpose, and Doug has found his purpose cleanly in playing drums, and I think that's fantastic. Working with Charo now and so many other people, it's his list of people that he's worked with through the years is kind of amazing. He's playing with Frankie Sinta as well. If you happen to be a big band guy, it's certainly worth checking him out. I'm seeing some more people saying hello here. Who's here? Charles. Charles, we said hello to you a second ago. Hi there. Herman L. Matthews. How you doing, Herman? Good to see you here, my friend. Renee Beavers is here with us. Keith Tenenbaum is here with us. The gang's all here tonight, man. This is awesome. I love seeing everybody saying hello. This is fantastic. It's really interesting to me every time we go into one of these because, again, I mentioned the international flavor of our audience. I love the fact that drumming, and the show has obviously, it started as late night learning a couple of years ago, and it was just me sitting here with my iPhone camera banging around on things. And clearly we've changed the overall setup since then. But it was interesting to me because even back then, I think Charles, you might have been one of the first people that kind of found me doing the late night learning thing, I have really thoroughly enjoyed getting to hear other perspectives and feel the differences of people around the world and the questions that people have and things like that. It's simply one of my favorite things. I love the fact that we all share this music thing. It's just kind of an amazing thing that music is the language that binds us all together, all of us that are here tonight. So I completely love that. Speaking of Keith Tenenbaum, let's see what Keith has to say. Keith is the drummer for one of my favorite bands, actually. The band is called Animal Cloud. And if you haven't checked out Animal Cloud, you need to go do that right after the show. So make a note of it, type it in, write it down. Don't leave the show, but later, okay? Check out Keith's band, Animal Cloud. You will not be disappointed. Let's see what Keith has to say.
Hey, this is Keith Tenenbaum from Animal Cloud and session drummer. What I love most about being a drummer, besides getting to sit behind a beautiful, shiny drum kit and hit things every day, is music has given me a chance to travel and see other countries and meet a lot of interesting, creative people that have become some of my closest friends, my dearest friends in my whole life. I've met on the road and playing in bands and creating together. So that is some of my favorite things about playing drums.
Yeah, I totally get that. The travel aspect. One of the things that we as Americans don't often take advantage of is the fact that we can freely go from state to state to state. And the truth of the matter is, most people don't make it to more than about 6 states in their lifetime. Living in California, I'll ask native Californians, have they ever been to XYZ state? And often the answer is no, but they've all been to Europe or Australia, even though they haven't spent much time going to the States. And the truth is that's the case everywhere in the States. For me, I've been to 43, 44 states and many countries, and a lot of that is because of music. So Keith, yeah, man, I totally get that. And I mean, totally. And by the way, the catharsis of sitting down and just hitting something with sticks, dude, there's something to be said for that. I mean, it's got this, it's a release. It's an animalistic release. Sometimes it helps with the mental health aspect of being alive right now and the things that we have to do right now just to deal with the way the world can be sometimes. So yeah, man, I totally get that. Wow, there's a lot of activity tonight. I love it. Oh, this is true now. This is true. Golden Flake Sweet Heat chips, they do rule. That's right, Renee. They really do. That's funny, Toby. I love it. Toby says, Keith was cute the way he was positioned. It looked like he was wearing Mickey Mouse ears. I love it. Ruffles potato chips with hot sauce. Okay, I'm on board with that. I really am. Oh, Toby. Cheese peanut butter crackers, she says. So here we are. You ready? I'm going to trip you guys up. Okay, if you know me at all, you know that I'm a pretty healthy eater. But once in a while, including tonight, there's a particular treat that I just have to have. A grilled cheese with peanut butter. Hear me out. Hear me out. You make like a regular grilled cheese, 2 slices of American with some mozzarella in between. Slather a little peanut butter on it. Ooey gooey greatness. It's like her cheese peanut butter crackers. It's like an ooey gooey version of that. Sounds gross. Really good. I promise you, it's so good. You just got to try it. If you want the recipe, hit me up. I'll give it to you because you'll thank me later. I promise. And smooth peanut butter, by the way. Don't bother with all that crunchy stuff. It's kind of weird to have crunchy peanut butter in an ooey gooey grilled cheese. Yes, Renee. Yes, it's really worth doing. I promise. You should totally do it. I promise. Oh, let's see what's next. I knew that you guys would be totally tripped up by the whole peanut butter grilled cheese, but it's so good. Oh yeah, that's right. Kendall's right. My fried chicken with 13 spices because it's better than the Colonel's 11. He's not wrong. I spend a lot of time cooking. I love to cook, so I come up with some crazy recipes, but my fried chicken is legit. Ask anybody that's had it. Eli's had it. It's pretty good. Toby, I don't know. Can I get on board with this? Dipping your grilled cheese in ketchup? I'm having a hard time with that, but then again, I just said grilled cheese with peanut butter, didn't I? So I'm going to let it slide. just because I'm going to let it slide. Go ahead, laugh at it, Charles. Now you know you're going to try it. I know you're going to try it. Do you guys have American cheese in South Africa? That's a real question. I don't know. All right, so let's see what's next. Who we got? We have a wonderful friend of mine, a New York session drummer by the name of Justin Scheidling. Justin actually does a good bit of work for us here at Groove Diner After Dark, helps us out with all sorts of things, and he's an absolutely killer drummer and a very close friend. And let's see what Justin has to say.
Hey, Groove Diner, Justin Scheidling here. My favorite part of being a drummer, percussionist, musician is finding the right sound. It's really important because, like, a snare drum's not just a snare drum. You have metal shells, wood shells, and the way the sound comes out of the instrument affects the entire song. Using a really fat snare drum on a song that needs a really crisp snare drum can ruin the whole thing. You know, a ride cymbal is not just a ride cymbal. A cowbell is not just a cowbell. Wind chimes, there's 100 different types, right? So drums are not just drums, and pizza is not just pizza. But what better way to enjoy my pizza is with a cup of coffee in a Groove Diner After Dark mug. It makes everything better. It makes my coffee better, makes my meal better. Go get yours today. It's in the shop. It's wonderful. Go do it. Thanks, buddy, for having me. See you guys on the next one.
That's awesome. And by the way, I don't see these videos before you do, so I don't know what I'm about to see when I roll one of these things either. So I am watching for the first time just like you are. Justin, that was awesome. Yes, you can go get your very own Groove Diner After Dark mug. I'm going to show you a commercial in just a minute. Man, and by the way, Doug had on a Groove Diner After Dark t-shirt. It was actually my Bud Drums logo shirt, so I meant to call that out and forgot. He's right about something else too, that the fact is we do an awful lot of experimenting. Like today, I was recording a session for Stephen Glickman, and I wanted one sound that I just couldn't get out of the drum set I'm currently sitting behind because it's a really specialized sound. So I walked over and I looked around and I picked 4 toms. I took the bottom heads off, stuffed them full of just junk to make them super dead. And I played this big 70s roundhouse fill, and it was absolutely perfect. And I love taking the time to do that. So we do, as much as I might hate to admit it, get to have some fun with what we do for a living. I mean, it's so much fun to get to do this stuff. So let's see. Okay, here it is. Thank you, Dan. American cheese equals craft processed cheese food product. So I guess that would be the European version of American cheese. I don't know how I feel about that. It's not cheese. It's closer to plastic than cheese. But man, it tastes good. So that's something to consider. Herman, my friend, I have a hard time with this one. I'm struggling with it, man. Conceptually, I don't know why. I feel like I'm going to have to try it now, though. I mean, that's you and Toby now have both said that I got to do it, you know. That's interesting. David Stanoch, welcome into the show, Dave. Louis Belson said, Big Sid Catlett put ketchup on everything. I don't even want to know. Because, man. I've been known to do that too. David is snacking on Kung Pao chicken. That sounds pretty good, actually. To be honest, I'm kind of on board with that. Delicious plastic. Exactly right, Charles. I love it. It really is delicious plastic. And don't even get me started on Velveeta. Do any of you guys, outside of my Southerners watching, know what Rotel dip is? Have you ever heard of this thing? If you haven't, let me know. Come by the studio. I'll make up a batch. And we'll just sit and snack on Rotel dip. Talk about plastic. But it's so good. So good. So many of... right now you're thinking, what is Rotel dip? Oh, Kendall Johnson. Grilled cheese on rye with Dijon mustard. That sounds pretty good, honestly. Did you put peanut butter on it? You should. Yeah, I know, Michael. Oh, welcome to the show, Michael. I love me some fake cheese. It's because it's good. I mean, say what you want. It's good. It's like the perfect meltiness. I mean, it's so good. Oh, let's see who's up next. We have a very close friend of mine, an independent drummer based out of Colorado Springs. She is Emily Gould. She's going to be on tour very soon. I'm sorry, Emily, I've forgotten who you're going out with. She's leaving to head toward. I saw Biloxi, Mississippi on their route, and I'm thinking about trying to get some of my friends that live down that way to go see her and her band, or whoever she's playing with. I'll have to look that up. I feel bad for not knowing that. Dan, can you help me out? Tell me who Emily's playing with. Okay, let's take a look here at what Emily had to say.
My favorite thing about this job that is drumming is sharing drumming with other people and teaching them how to play, because I've felt massive mental and physical benefits from playing, as well as just straight up having a ton of fun all the time. But a lot of people don't know that it has these benefits, or they say, I can't do it, I don't know how, they don't have the tools, so it's daunting. So giving people the tools, introducing them to the joy that is hitting things with sticks or with your hands is super rewarding for me, and it's by far the best thing about this career.
It's funny. Thank you, Emily. It's funny because the physical and mental benefits are real. There was a study conducted, and I know every drummer watching this knows what I'm about to say. A study conducted about 5 years ago, pre-pandemic, that showed that a drummer who played a 2-hour set burned more calories than a marathon runner. I have absolutely no problem believing that. With all 4 limbs going, and if you sing, the physicality of it, I mean, it's more than one of us, probably me more than most, have had to be pulled off the drum throne at the end of a long night. Had to be carried off the drum throne because we expend everything physically. And mentally, again, you've got to keep 4 limbs and a 5th going if you're singing, plus try not to get distracted by all the 19 things going on. Oh, and by the way, there's a click track going in your ear, and you're trying to listen to everything on stage. It requires laser focus to do this job at a high level. So it's quite a serious push and pull from fun to work to energy expended to energy given back. And that's one of the things, I guess I really hadn't thought about it a lot, because as you guys know, I spend most of my time in the studios here in LA. I don't get to play live very much. People don't ever hire me to play live much. Hire me. I'm here. If you want me to play live, I'm in. And I hadn't done one until I did that Stephen Glickman, Lisa Loeb show back in December. And it had been 5 years since I'd done a live show. How about that? And what I found myself really loving was the interplay between us and the audience. It gave me back a lot of the energy that I expended. And for me, that was something that I didn't realize I'd been missing so much. So yeah, Emily, that's very true that the physicality of it and the mental side of it, it's all very, very, very real. Let's see, I'm hearing some more over this way. No click track on this dude's gig, says Renee. Well, yeah, you're a blues player, man. You lucky you. That's right, Toby. Last season we did ask what everyone's pet peeve was. But I thought this would be more fun, or at least as much fun, and it so far has been. So let's just take a look. Let's see, where are we? Oh, my friend Derico Watson submitted one. Oh, wait. Let's see. Charles, he is the click, yeah, that's right. So Mike Mangini was someone they did the calorie test on, and Mike plays with Dream Theater. So I can imagine that is at least as many calories as running a marathon. That's a serious gig, man. A lot of challenge to that musically. Oh, okay, let's get over here to Derico. Derico Watson, he is the drummer with the Victor Wooten Band, and he's on staff at Belmont University in Nashville. So if you're looking for drum study in a collegiate curriculum setting, check out Derico. He's there. Let's see what Derico has to say.
Hi, Derico Watson here. What I love about my job of playing drums. First of all, I don't think of music as a job. It's what I love to do. I play drums because I love to do it. And when I am fortunate enough to get paid, I get paid for my time. So that's the first thing that's helped me to get as far as I have in my life, is just keeping that in mind every chance I get to play. Also, I love when I'm on stage with a group of musicians or in the studio, and we don't have to say a word. We just talk about maybe a form of a song, and then we just get on our instruments and let the instruments do the talking for us. The other thing that I love about drums is the physical workout I get from it, the brain stimulation I get from it. It's just really, really addicting. And I'm thankful to be able to have done it for all these years, and I'm continuing working on it. Okay, thank you.
That seems to be a bit of a theme, doesn't it? The mental and physical stimulation of it. Derico doesn't mind me saying this because we've talked about it on this show last year. Derico has multiple sclerosis, and he has attributed the slow progression of his condition to his continued focus on drumming. And I can totally see that because of the way that it challenges your body and challenges your mind. I think that's incredible. So for him, when he says that he feels blessed to be able to do it every day, that's because drumming has helped him overcome a debilitating disease. So Derico, I know that everybody here will commend you for continuing that. And he made the comment about growth, and that's for sure. I know that that's been a theme in my own life lately, is that I had gotten pretty stagnant, and I found myself kind of not loving drumming and not loving music and feeling like it was a job. The moment that really happens, it changes the way that you interact. And I know for me personally, I had to figure out a way to come back from that. And I've had a few conversations over the past 2 or 3 months that have really impacted me in a very positive way, even though they were maybe a little hard to hear. And it's really made me enjoy myself playing drums in a way that I have not in a long, long time. Oh, let's see what all this stuff is over here. Derico is one of my favorite drummers, says Mike Odabashian. Yeah, Derico's an awesome player and a great guy, a very good friend. I actually helped him move to Nashville, like literally physically moved stuff. I don't know how I feel about that now. I wouldn't do it now. Keith Tenenbaum, of course you would. I eat cake while I play drums, says Keith. Yes, of course you do. Because why wouldn't you? You got to balance it out, man. It's just got to be done. All right, let's see who's up next. Oh, Mason Bonner is up next. Who is Mason? Mason is the drummer for the Midnight Shepherds. They are a band out of southern Mississippi. I know Mason because he's one of my drum campers from the past. Now he's graduated well beyond that now, and is a working professional. But Mason is one of those guys that when I met him, I went, he may have the stuff. Turns out he does. And he's been working really, really hard. He got his degree in percussion and has been continuing to push forward. So I thought it'd be fun to have somebody on who maybe isn't quite as established and to see what Mason's got to say. He's just getting started in his career. What you got, Mason?
Hey everybody, I'm Mason Bonner and I'm the drummer for the Midnight Shepherds. So why do I dig drumming so much? I mean, I could go on for days about it, but I guess the simplest way I could put it is it's just so cool. Like, this art form's been around for tens of thousands of years, and who would have thought that a drum would ever be more durable than stone or a castle or even an empire? Like, how cool is that?
He's right. It's just cool. I mean, the truth is, every one of us has been looked at as being much cooler than we are because of what we do. I know I am not cool. Ask any of my friends. They'll tell you. I guarantee you somebody's typing that right now. I am not cool. But because I play drums, I get a few cool points. Just a few. But it definitely helps. Mason, I mean, there's something to be said for that, man. I totally get it. I see Dan just published here a Drum Connection. Let's put that up. Drum Connection, Brain in Playing Music. And it's about music and drumming and how it helps with autism. Even I haven't read that. Like I said earlier, I don't watch these videos, so I don't know what's coming before you do. So I can't wait to see that and read that. That ought to be pretty fun. It says drumming is proven to help those on the autism spectrum. Interesting. My friend Charlie Adams plays drums for Yanni, and he's got 2 children who are autistic. I'm gonna talk to Charlie. Maybe I can see if I can get him on the show. Of course, he's in Nashville, but that'd be interesting to find out if he has utilized drumming with his children. Yes, Keith. Keith, I am in fact. So cool. Yes. Oh, it's official now. Herman thinks I'm cool. I'll take it. I am so not cool. I'm like the goofiest dude on the planet. Yeah, Toby says, like Eddie Taduri, whom I talked to on the phone just yesterday, and his trap association. You should definitely check that out. This is true, Kendall. Huey Lewis and the News wrote a song, Hip to Be Square. Clearly, I fall into that. Oh, man. Well, let's take a quick break here, and I'll be back in just about 30 seconds. We'll talk some more. We got a whole bunch more of these to go.
This episode is brought to you by Hearback Pro from Hear Technologies. The ability to hear yourself clearly in a recording or live situation is key to delivering your best, most creative performance. The Hearback Pro system, made up of a hub and individual mixers, allows performers in a session or on a gig the ability to dial in exactly what they need to hear in order to be their best. If you're looking for a solution to allow yourself or your clients to hear themselves better, check out Hearback Pro from Hear Technologies.
Like I said, it's cool for me to get to hear things tonight because actually I'm literally using the Hearback Pro that I just had in the commercial. That's actually how I'm listening to the show tonight. So as you see, I only endorse that which I use. There it is right there, literally right here. How fun is that? Look at all this. See, all I have to do is say I'm not cool and suddenly I become cool. Renee says Herman and Buddy are cool. I'll give you Herman. Nobody had better dreadlocks. Speaking of that, Herman, we were at a party not so long ago, and Herman gave me some wisdom about dreadlocks. Yeah, and he said never to call them dreads because it was Jamaica, right? And the women would look around and say, aren't those things dreadful? And that's where they became known as dreadlocks. So it's better to call them locks than dreads. Did I get that right, Herman? I think that's what you told me. If I remember correctly, that was the story. I think that's so fun, man. I love that story. I thought it was really, really cool to hear that. See, there it is. You were cool. Oh, my goodness. This is so fun to me. I'm having a great time tonight. It's true, though, Renee. That's exactly what he said. All right, let's take a look here at what Ryan Saranich had to say. Ryan is the percussionist. He's a utility guy. Well, I'll come back to that. Yeah, so he's a utility guy for the band Brit Floyd. So if you've seen Brit Floyd, made up of former members of Pink Floyd along with other players, they're absolutely incredible. And Ryan plays bass, drums, and percussion with them, and a little piano from what I understand as well. Ryan is maybe, I hate him. Ryan, I hate you. Because you're so talented. I wish I could be half as talented as him. He's got more talent in his little finger than I have in my entire body. Let's see what Ryan has to say.
Admittedly, too, as someone who really enjoys learning all the time, I like getting inspired by the people that I'm around all the time, new musicians and people that I've played with for a lot of years. They approach music very differently than I do. And so sometimes, when I'm watching other people play or when I'm playing with or against some other people on stage, I'm really seeing how much more there is to learn and how much more things that I have the opportunity to learn from them and from everywhere.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It's interesting because when I was talking with Richard Grossman a couple of weeks ago, hi, Richard, if you happen to be watching tonight, Richard mentioned the connection that we have on stage. And I said something along the lines of, when I don't feel that connection with a bass player or whomever on stage, I struggle as a player. I struggle as a drummer being able to give a good performance. And what Ryan's talking about here is very real. It is exactly that situation where having the connection, learning from the other players, having them learn from you, even sometimes learning what not to do. I'll never forget playing, I won't say who it was, but I played for many, many years with a particular musician. He was a very busy player. He played fretted instruments, and I loved his playing. But I had to learn how to stay out of the way because I'm a busy player too, or at least I used to be. And I had to learn how to get out of his way and let him have the space he needed because he was so good at filling up the space. I didn't have to. And it was a real challenge for me to learn that. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I got to play with him for so many, many years. Yes, indeed, from big thanks to our friends at Hear Technologies. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. Let's see. What do we have? Herman. Charles Anderson would like to know, didn't you play once for Fishbone? I don't know if you did. I don't remember you having played for Fishbone, but maybe you did. Let us know. David Stanoch, yes, Eddie Taduri. Eddie's awesome. In fact, David, you're the one that introduced us a couple of years ago. You should also talk to Alex Cohen, who teaches DCI in New York City. I'd love to do that. He's on the spectrum. Oh, interesting. And he's an extreme polyrhythmic wonder. Wow. No, okay. I would totally be on board with that, man. I'm going to have to check that out for sure. And of course, more importantly than all of this, my jacket is cool. Thank you very much. Let's see. Charles asking the question. He says he vaguely remembers an MD interview many years ago. Maybe so. Maybe Herman will answer out here if he's still here. Let's see. Herman's laughing. Kendall, what are you saying? I think a great example of drums making one look cool is the great Carter Beauford, who without being surrounded by his big kit aesthetically would be a short order cook at an all-night diner. No offense to diner cooks. What's the groove diner so he can cook here anytime, man? I'm just saying. That's funny, though. He does, I guess you're saying he's kind of nondescript looking or something like that, but he is certainly cool. He's got one of the most amazing drum sets on the planet. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying, man. That's pretty amazing to me. I know that I've watched other players and I'll see them and just go, wow. And then they get off the stage and they're nothing like their persona on stage was. In fact, nearly everybody that I know is like that. It's kind of a fun thing to me. So look at this. Guess who submitted a video? None other than Coco Montoya's Rene Beavers.
Hi everyone at Groove Diner, all the viewers. This is Rene. What do I love about my job? What do I love about playing drums? Get to be an accompanist, a conductor in a sense, metronome of course, mixing everything, even a mixer, an engineer. We have to mix level of this being too soft or this being too loud, and the overall mix of what we're playing in accordance to what's going on. But the bottom line is you can't have no groove if you ain't got that pocket, in the words of J.D. Blair.
If you don't do nothing else, groove. That was something that J.D. Blair once. Well, he tells everybody that, but I certainly learned that from him too, way back in the day. He used to play drums for the very, very wonderful Shania Twain back in the day. You know, Rene, it's funny because Rene is one of the hardest working, busiest drummers that I know, next to Herman just about. Herman beats us all. He's always working. But Rene's pretty close by there. And one of the things, so Charles saying, Rene just dropped the mic there. I agree. It's kind of, I don't really have a lot to add there because, I'm just saying, it's one of those things. Rene, that's some pretty good wisdom there, my friend. Thanks for chiming in. David Stanoch, I remember Herman from New Toys in the short time I lived in Houston, Texas. Killer drummer from way back. There you go, my friend. Do you guys know each other? You should. Oh, this is funny. I like this, Dan. Very Blues Brothers, a la Matt Guitar Murphy as the cook. That's funny. I like it. That's good. That's very, very good. Oatmeal's better than no meal. That's what they say anyway. I'm not always so sure. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. See, now David and Herman, you guys need to chat about this, clearly. Yeah, Ty Dennis, Ty Dennis does play a lot. That's for sure. In fact, Ty is a good dude. I really enjoy his drumming a lot. He's a very, very good guy. Okay, let's see who's up next. Oh, this is a good one. Denny Fongheiser, an LA session legend, and I use that word for real. If you don't know who Denny is, just do yourself a favor and quickly Google him. He's part of the soundtrack of your life, I can assure you. Let's see what Denny has to say.
What do I love about my job? No, there's many things. I guess, as a drummer, that body connection from our core and all our limbs going and that focus. And I love just being in that zone and connecting to the song and the other musicians. And hopefully what you're doing, expressing, will touch somebody who's listening to it. And that's our goal. And so that's one of the things.
Yeah, here we go again. The connection, that body soul connection, and clearly that's a running thread. I think along the way, let me speak for myself here. It's easy to lose that when you're spending all your time playing paradiddles at 260, you're trying to make your hands do things. And I think that's why it's important to play with other musicians. If you have that moment where you can bring people in and say, let's make music together, instead of let's record this to an exact metronome with a click, and if it's a 40 milliseconds one way or the other, or 2 milliseconds the other, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also not necessarily musical. And that's one of the struggles, I think, with modern pop music, is it's so perfect all the time that drummers, we struggle perhaps to know how to land it exactly in the right spots. So if we can play with other musicians and learn their feel and learn their flow, and they learn ours, suddenly we're having a musical conversation. And that's such a huge deal. And Charles here has said, oh man, Denny. Denny's going to be my guest on the show here in about 3 weeks. We've already done his interview. And in fact, I was at a thing with him 2 nights ago. Denny's a really great dude. And you're going to thoroughly enjoy hearing his stories. So be sure you tune in for that one. It's so good. Let's see what Corey Manske, he's one of the drummer dudes. His band Bad Salt plays all over LA, and you're going to want to check them out if you get a chance. Corey is an excellent drummer, a fantastic human being, and one of the most articulate people that I know. Like this.
What is it I love most about playing drums? Well, that's very easy. I still feel the same way about all this stuff today as I did when I was a little kid. But as an adult here, it represents 2 things for me. The first is there's always a puzzle to be solved back there. And I like finding new ways of saying the old things, kind of in a new way, right? There's always a puzzle to be solved back there, and I really like that. And then the other thing is that I always feel those butterflies of excitement. I always feel like I'm on a roller coaster. It's always like riding a ride, and that's really fun for me. And that's the word, fun. It's pure joy to me, and it's always been that way. The worst days spent behind the kit are better than the best days doing other stuff, in my opinion, to me. So yeah, that's what I love most about playing drums.
Yeah, that's great. The worst day playing drums is awfully good, man. It's definitely not a bad way to spend a little bit of your time every day. And for me, hearing Corey say that, and I'll tell you, Corey called me out on this back during the pandemic. I said to my group of friends, the drummer guys, and you guys have been watching the show, so you know it's Corey, it's Mike Odabashian, it's Kelly King, it's Herman Matthews, it's Keith Tenenbaum, and me. We're kind of the 6 core members of that little group, and we would have a weekly bull session on Zoom during the course of the pandemic. And I made a comment that I just wasn't loving playing drums, and Corey just he hit me, man, and he did it in a really positive way. So I get what he's saying. You know, it's immediately back to being a kid, and immediately back to the love of all of that. It's a real thing, you know. I totally understand how it impacts us and imprints on us when we're so young. It's just kind of amazing, frankly. So thanks for weighing in there, Corey. Yes, Keith Tenenbaum. I love Corey Manske too. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Hey, Odie, nice to see you, my friend. So Odie De La Fuente. Hey, everybody, just got here, but trying to get me to try sushi. Not gonna happen, man. Odie is also a sushi chef. Say that 4 times fast. But I just won't, I barely eat fish at all. Sushi is not something that's going to happen. No, yeah, he says he loves seeing other musicians groove into your group. Yeah, I totally get that, man. That's one of those things. And it's definitely for real. Toby has a question for Herman. Question, Herman, how did Hope take the new kit news? That's so funny. Oh, even better. Here's Herman. I have not told her yet. You probably don't need to. All right, let's see who's next. Oh, Terence Ervan. He plays the drums for the Charlotte Hornets, and he owns Shady Palm Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. Used to live out here quite a bit, but Terence is a good dude. So let's take a look at what Terence has to say.
Hey guys, here on Groove Diner talking about what I love best about my job. Well, I have a couple jobs. I'm an audio engineer. What I love best about that is getting to create music with people and the gear. The gear is really fun too. I'm also a music educator. I love teaching kids how to play drums, and just you can't beat that, man. That feeling of when one of them tells you later on in life, "Hey, I loved you as my teacher." That's like one of the best feelings in the world. I'm also a music arranger and writer. I love being able to come up with new ideas for kids to play in percussion ensembles and music, and for them to, put that on a court or in a performance or on a field or wherever it's going to be. And I'm also a drummer. What I love about that is just getting to beat things. Yeah. No, I just love music. Music is my thing.
I just get to beat things. I mean, that's kind of been another thread running through this whole thing, hasn't it? I get to bang on things. I love it. Yeah, totally, man. It's one of those deals where we just all really kind of love what we do, and we get a chance to pull that stuff in, man. It's quite a fun thing. One of the things he said that we've touched on a bit is the people, the interaction of the people, and he said further he is a music educator. I get to do that in the summers, as you guys know, and it is my favorite part of the year. I can play with anybody, record anything. My favorite thing I do is to get to go teach the next generation. It's just there's something about that, and having those moments where you get to see that light go in a student, that moment where they just get it. There's nothing quite like it. And some of you, if you've ever been there, where you teach somebody and you see that moment, you completely understand what it is I'm saying. Charles, yes. Better to ask forgiveness than permission. Oh, that's so funny. And yes, I think that's probably where Herman's living right now. Kendall, Santa Claus took my drum set back in '73 because of the noise. Getting them back during the pandemic after 40 years has been a dream. The physicality is so cleansing. Yeah, man, absolutely. Kendall's, here we go, Herman. Kendall, you should have told Santa to kiss your, that's funny. I love it. That's hysterical. It's so good to have everybody with us tonight, man. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. It doesn't happen that we always get everybody here. Yeah, Toby is right. The progression is something to witness because without fail, every first year student, including Mason Bonner from earlier, every first year student that comes to one of my camps in the summer, they have this overwhelmed look on their face, and they're just, it's like so much information flying. Well, Mason went from this really shy, why am I here kid, to working professional in a space of about 10 years, and that has been amazing to me, watching him progress and learn to play pans and steel pans and things like that. It's just kind of astounding. I really, really, really love it. So that's for me the most rewarding thing that I do. All right, let's see who's up next. Aha! Herman Matthews. Who's this guy? I don't know. He's some drummer dude. Played with some people. Tower Power, Kenny Loggins, Richard Marks. Who else do you play for, Kenny? I just called you Kenny. Who else do you play for, Herman? So many people. Let's see what Herman had to say.
First of all, I'm lucky, fortunate, and blessed to be able to play music and to express my musicality through drumming. There's nothing like laying down a groove and having people respond. When the band and the audience are in sync and people are grooving. Now, granted, those moments are few and far between, but when it happens, it's magical. Someone once told me, if you want to be a musician, don't do it. Hardest thing in the world. But if you end up being a musician, it's the greatest thing you can possibly do.
Yeah, how's that for some wisdom? If there's anything else you can do in the world other than be a musician, and still feel like you've had a full life, bro, do it. Anything else. But if you get to be a musician, there are very few things that are a deeper blessing. There's that word again, isn't it? It's something to behold, man. Herman said, when the band and the audience are in sync, that is special. I've often been asked, what's the best gig you've ever played? And people will usually expect me to say one of the big ones where there's 100,000 people in the crowd. No. It was a coffee shop in Nashville, Tennessee, where there were more people in the band than in the crowd, I think. And the crowd was mostly girlfriends and whatnot. But we were just so in sync. It was like floating above and watching myself play. And we all felt it. That interchange on stage and between us and the audience. There is nothing like it, just like Herman said. And I'm seeing this over here, but I was going to mention it myself. Go check out Herman's band, Fatback Earl and Me, at Ireland's 32. It's at Burbank and Woodman here in LA if you get a chance. That's on March 1st. I don't know what time it starts. If you'll let me know that, I will put that up on here. But Fatback Earl and Me, I went and saw them along with Corey at the Baked Potato not so long ago, and came away from there going, whoa, holy cow, no wonder this guy's a legend. They are deeply, deeply groovy and so much fun. And Keith, yes, besides groove, Herman was also blessed with style, more than all the rest of us for sure. Herman says the band starts at 8:30, so there you go. Let's see, here we go. What's David saying? Herman, right on. Just remembered I also saw you with Kenny Loggins at a private party corporate gig. I crashed outside on Salt Key Island in the Bahamas. That is deep. I kind of love that story. That has just become my favorite news story of the night. I rather like that quite a bit. That's really good stuff. You were there too at the Big Potato. That's right, Toby. You were. I'd forgotten that. My apologies. Danger Zone, baby. Can never forget that. We never, ever let him forget that he did that. All right, let's see who's up next. Oh, our very good friend, Mike Odabashian. Mike, what'd you have to say, my friend?
My name's Mike Odabashian. I'm a drummer here in Los Angeles, and I've been out here for about 10 years. I'm from the East Coast, and I've been playing drums almost my whole life. I started when I was about 9 years old, and I feel super fortunate to have it in my life because it brings a ton of joy, it brings purpose to my life, and it really, truly does make me happy, and it transports me to a place that is just void of any problems. And I just feel very lucky to have it in my life because I feel like it keeps me balanced as a person. It keeps me very happy and fulfilled. And I think everybody should play music. Everybody should try it. It's super rewarding. And I'm very fortunate to be able to do it for other people and make people happy by playing the drums, make people feel something. And yeah, that is just really a gift.
The whole thing with Mike's video is right on, man. Again, it's that same recurring theme. I think we all feel incredibly fortunate to be able to do this, and the way we get to interact with our instruments, and with the way that we get to interact with the people and the crowds, that makes such a big difference for every last one of us. I'm grateful to Mike for sending that in. Being out here in LA, making that move from the East Coast, that's not easy. That takes an awful lot of commitment. So a thing I'm asked quite a bit, and I'm sure that many of you are too, is do I still have to make the move? Do I still have to be in one of the music cities? And I think you'll get varying answers on that, but resoundingly, yes. Being here, it's a case of you got to be present to win. Because what I do for a living, there's a bajillion people that can do it, but if they're not here, I mean, why would they call somebody in, I don't know, Peoria, Illinois, instead of somebody that's right here in it? So do you still have to be there? Yeah, I think you do. And I think that's what Mike making that move, that's a big commitment. Ty Dennis just submitted a video, like literally right now.
Hi y'all, Ty Dennis here. I think the main thing that I love about the drums is the inspiration that I still get from playing the drums. Like I got when I was 7 years old, and I got when I was 12 years old, and all my life. So it's a wonderful thing that the drums give back to me and to all of us. You get up every morning and you're inspired. I mean, that's a very lucky position to be in for all of us drummers. So, there you go. Cheers.
But let's take a look here. Who else have we got? Chris Hart. He is the Artist Relations Director International for Remo Drumheads. What you got, Chris?
What do I love most about my job? I deal with the best drum heads in the world. I deal with the best artists in the world. I deal with the best music events in the world. I deal with the best industry people in the world. That's what I love most about my job. But what I really love most about my job, I deal with you. That's what I love the most.
Chris might be the sweetest man that I know on the face of the planet. And you saw, if you didn't notice, immediately when he popped up on screen, a lot of how great Chris is. And he is truly all heart. Chris is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul. And the fact that he gets to do what he does helps us all do what we do. And I think we're all grateful to Chris because, again, back to that recurring theme. The truth is we all love doing what we do, and we get to do it and interact with wonderful people. I know music and California, maybe, I don't know, musicians get something of a bad rap, but guess what? The best people that I know in my life are because of music, including half the people watching tonight, it feels like. So wow, that's why we must keep funding the arts. That's why we must, as I'll use this term, older generation, give back. We've got to all do that. We have all got to continue to push the arts forward. And seeing somebody like Chris, that's all he's about. That's all. He's all about making our jobs easier. Man, I just think that's kind of astounding that he's that guy. So, yeah, and oh, hello, look at that. Eddie Dury's here. Good to see you here, Eddie. Nice to see you, man. Man, see, that was like, and Chris, thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you said there. That was really tremendous. I see Veronica Ebert has joined us from Australia. Welcome in tonight. It's been quite a fun run tonight. We've got just a couple more of these things. Herman says, Eddie. David says, Eddie. This is awesome. I love it. This is so good to see everybody here chatting. Finally, let's see. Well, maybe not finally. I'm going to see if I can do this one more time. Let's just see. Where are we? Look at that. Eddie from Renee. Herman says, Eddie, this is fun. I like this. Let's see what David Stanoch has to say. David's been here watching this. David is who I take drum lessons from. Just think about that. And the David Stanoch School of Drumming, if you want to check that out, you're going to need it. So it's the kind of thing that makes you feel like you should never have bothered to pick up drumsticks, but in a positive way. David's a great guy. Why? Thank you so very much, Veronica. Oh, this is so fun. Let's see what David had to say here.
Hi, I'm David Stanoch, and Buddy asked me, why do I love drumming? It's a great question, one I can't remember if anyone has ever asked me before. What I love is the incredible transcendence that occurs every time I play. My drum set is like a vehicle, like a spaceship or a time machine. When I play, I leave the space I'm in, and I enter a field of magic. The vibrations transport me into another world where my thoughts and feelings become one with the sounds I'm creating. The music is like a portal to a place where you can express your emotions in a universal language, the language of music. You can simply enjoy it yourself, or better yet, share it with others. It's magic because in the time it's happening, it's healing for all involved. It's the only medium that gives me this connection, and that's incredible. Now, of course, practicing is another story, but it's always been well worth the effort to receive the gift. I believe that if you find something you love in life and you're true to it, it will be true to you, and that's why I love drumming.
First of all, he prepped a video. That's amazing, David. Thank you. Transcendence. I kind of touched on that with the coffee house gig, that I felt like I was floating above the drums. That's ultimately what he's talking about, is leaving your conscious self and becoming one with what's happening musically. Yeah. That's part of this whole musical experiment. We're all part of it, and we all have our little moments to give and to receive from it, where the energy that I give to you is different from what you give to me, is different from what Herman gives, etc., what Keith gives or Corey. The reality of it for all of us is that we are all in this kind of for the same reasons. For me, I still feel every time I play like I've got so much further to go. And it drives me to keep pushing forward. And without that progress, without having somewhere to go, I don't think that I would find myself with a real purpose in life. It's a challenge, but it's a worthy challenge. And I think ultimately that it's worth doing, because we are all struggling with something. We are all dealing with, the cat wouldn't eat and the dog wouldn't go to the bathroom and all of these different things. But it's music that connects us all. And I'm seeing over here that, in fact, David just said almost that exact thing. It is an incredible thing to be part of this world. Veronica, same state available for her when creating visual art or dancing. I am married to a dancer, and she approaches the world through dance. So I absolutely get that. David is married to a dancer, and I know he gets that as well. It is, in fact, all energy. And we went to this thing with Denny Fongheiser and his fiancee, Kimberly, Saturday night. And it was a fashion show and art exhibit. It was really interesting to me, the sense that I got of the people that were involved in that, and how they were on the exact same plane as my musician friends, and how related it was, intertwined even, in a way that maybe I wouldn't have thought about in the past. It was really fun to be part of that world. I've been to a couple of art exhibits now with Denny, and I thoroughly understand how music and art and dance and acting all relate. It's all just one continuum. And Toby's saying here, music is frequently stated as the drug of choice. Yeah, I know. I get it. But of course, there's always the Eddie Taduris of the world who just simply want to meet more girls. Yes, exactly. I wouldn't have met my wife without it. No way. I mean, not a chance. Oh, my goodness. That wraps it up for tonight. This was an awful lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who chimed in and sent in the videos. I appreciate it so very much. It was really, really, really fun to hear these different responses, people in different parts of their career. So thank you very much. Next week, Melanie Joe, drummer for Billy Gibbons. No, I'm not related. The guitarist for ZZ Top. She also plays with Slash and Nancy Wilson, among others. So Melanie will be here, and we will have another great episode. If you get a chance, please go to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe. And, of course, here, follow us on Facebook, etc., etc. My personal stuff is Buddy Gibbons and at Buddy Gibbons at TikTok. I have like 4 followers because I never TikTok. So come on over there, and I'm trying to do a few things. So come on over and follow me at TikTok until they shut it down. It might be fun. Who knows? Oh, look at this. Chris Hart. Hey, Eddie Taduri. It's been way too long. Absolutely, my friend. I know you guys certainly know each other. Thank you, Herman. I love you too, my friend. And I can't wait to see you again sometime soon. Hopefully I can make it over on March 1st. David, thank you so much for your video. Thanks, Toby. It was, in fact, a very fun show tonight. Eddie says mission accomplished. Yes, indeed. Here is the link tree. Please, if you, again, like and subscribe to all the different things. And we had a great time. Thank you, Keith Tenenbaum, for spending your evening with us as well. And I'll see you next week with Melanie Joe. Until then, have a great week.